Boys and girls, this is the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and you're listening to Going In Raw, baby.
Hey guys, this is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw. Going In Raw. That sounds terrible.
What's up? It's your girl, Sasha Banks, Legit Boston, and you are watching Going In Raw. You like that?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson, available wherever podcasts can be found. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and a little notify bell next to it to make sure you always got your new Going In Raw notifications. We're also available on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steve and Larson. We have a variety of reward tiers over there, including the $5 a month mark. You get a whole bunch of bonus content at that mark. We got Ask Steven Larson coming up. We're going to film it later on today.
That's right.
I'll probably get it up either today or, next Tuesday.
Also, you get early access to Matt Chat.
How long did that episode end up being this week?
About 35 minutes.
Oh, it was that long? Okay, cool. Right on. So, yeah, good stuff. It's draft day.
It is draft day. We got a full WWE draft preview coming up here later on.
Yeah, we're gonna do live reactions. I was able to arrange it. I called up my sister. I said, I'm gonna pick up Alabama and drop her off at your house. And then I said, so I hope you're there, because if you're not, she's gonna be chilling in her house by herself. And then she was like, yeah, I'm gonna be home. I'm like, I don't really care.
That's beneficial. That's good. That's the better of the better than the alternative. However, nonetheless, This is what the situation was going to be.
Yeah,
essentially what you said.
My name's Bennett. Yeah,
yeah.
So
that is your favorite saying now.
My name's Bennett. I ain't in it. So yeah. Anyways, good stuff. So yeah, we have a full draft preview. But before we get to that, let's just dive into the news.
Yeah.
What's the news?
So, following Hell in a Cell, a bunch of people are upset about the finish of that match, about the main event.
Yeah.
Like people were canceling the network.
I know, we need to tread lightly here, man. I don't need people in the comments.
I mean, everybody's welcome to their own opinion.
You know, what's funny is that this is another episode sponsored by AEW.
Yeah, no.
This is the last one that's sponsored by AEW, man. It's awesome they've done that.
Yes.
But the funny thing is they're going to be like, oh, you guys love that ending of Hell in a Cell, you AEW shills. Wait. What?
Yeah, we're actually praising something WWE did, and therefore we are. Yeah,
no. Like the comments crack me up because they're trying to figure out. The people in the comments try to figure out. Oh, Larson hated look at the show. You're so anti NXT. He's like he thinks it's like worse now. You guys are shills, and it's like, you know what, man? We like what we like. We don't like what we don't like, and we talk about that here on the show.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Hell in a Cell.
Anyway, so
you and I are both into it. Nobody else was.
I didn't have a problem with that. They were telling the story. At least we seem to think of Bray kind of putting himself in harm's way for the very specific reason of making Seth snap.
Yeah.
To unleash the darker impulses within Seth, to betray his own moral fiber in an attempt to keep that title.
He pushed Seth to attempted murder.
Yes.
And then they called the match off because the ref was like, we don't really need to have murder in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously he's not moving, and a sledgehammer to the head, it might make that permanent.
Yes.
So let's stop the match. But
Exactly.
regardless, we found out from the Wrestling Observer himself, Dave Meltzer, he seemed to have figured out or found out from his sources what the original finish of the match was supposed to be. And I'm kind of curious to see if anybody out there in the world thinks that this is better or not. I personally do not. But he says the finish of the match was from McMahon, obviously. His idea was always that he wasn't beating Wyatt this early, but wanted Lesnar, Rollins, Lynch, and Flair as the four champions going into the draft and the new beginnings. The original idea for the finish was that Wyatt would take a gimmicked bump off the top of the cage and be unable to continue, and the match would then be stopped. Then, after it was stopped, he would pop up like The Undertaker and take Rollins out with the mandible claw.
So essentially the same thing, except the final blow was a toss off the top of the cage, something we've seen several times and seen people continue after bumps off the top of the cage.
Yeah. If you want somebody to look really weak, that's what you do.
Yes.
Because everybody continues after taking a bump off of Hell in a Cell. I mean, there are exceptions, yeah. But Mick Foley set the standard there.
Yes. Shane continued, I believe, 2 least one Hell in a Cell match. After one of the Undertaker, he did that shot, the spot off the cell.
Yeah.
Trying to drop the elbow, missed.
Yeah.
And like Undertaker, I mean, he was pinned shortly thereafter, but when like medical staff came out and put him on a stretcher or anything.
Dean and Seth, I know it was off the side of the cell, which, by the way, I mean, that's kind of all I really want to see these days anyways. Is I know Owens went off the top against Braun.
That was a regular cage
That
match.
was a regular cage. Is that much higher than?
I think it is higher, yeah. It's probably a good 6 feet higher.
Okay, all right.
Anyways, you're right. We've seen at least half dozens times someone get tossed off the top of the cell and either continue the match or at least not be tended to by medical personnel.
Yeah.
They're not going to have Wyatt take a bump off the top of the cage right onto the match ringside or something like that. That's unbelievably unsafe. It's going to be through something like the announce
big
table.
air cushion table.
Yeah.
That's what it would have been.
So if it's through the announce table, we've seen that several times. And they have a medical come out and put him on a stretcher and wheel him off. You'd be like, what the heck? What they did, if what Meltzer's saying is true, what they did is actually a vast improvement over this original idea. I know there's the spectacle of seeing Bray Wyatt take that huge bump off the top of the cell, and if he's up there like on the edge of the cell, like doing this, like egging Seth on to push me, I guess from a storyline perspective, it accomplishes the same thing as what we saw. But it's a bump we've seen countless times. How many times have we seen someone take a sledgehammer? Granted, through several layers of metal objects, take a sledgehammer to someone's head and take a full swing at it.
That was a baseball swing.
I can't think of any times where it's like I know Triple H has done full swings, but he's never made contact.
Hey man, we're gonna go to our graves with this one, and nobody's gonna be on the same page. There are friendos in the comments who are like, "Yeah, no, I thought it was creative," but by and large, we're against the grain on that one. I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
I'll put that on my tombstone. Hell in a Cell 2019 was awesome.
Here's the thing, I will defend the finish. Like, I understand when people are upset that there was a non-finish to the match. The ref called the match, and I don't necessarily think. Here's the thing: if the match wasn't in Hell in a Cell, I don't think people would care. I think people would be like, okay, well, shoot, Seth about to kill a man. Yeah, it makes sense. If we hadn't seen a DQ or a no finish last year, I don't think people would care as much.
Yeah,
it's just 2 years in a row with the main event of Hell in a Cell, and that's not a fault of. I think in this instance, it's not a fault. In this particular match of creative, I think it's a match of overexposure or an issue of overexposure of the Hell in a Cell gimmick. If you don't have two Hell in a Cell, at least two Hell in a Cell matches every year at a Hell in a Cell themed pay-per-view, this is a non-issue.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly think it's a broader thing of WWE's creative is so all over the map.
Yeah.
And so often it fails to deliver. And people, I think, are sort of, number one, they're ready for it to be they're ready to pounce for one thing, and they're not really willing to give much leeway. You got something. We got this great question on Matt Chat from, I think, was it who asked WWE in terms of not striking while the iron's hot?
That was Guion Halili.
Okay, so Jacksonville's number one.
Yes.
Asked, give me some examples. And WWE does this all the time.
Hold on, I'm going to address this. Piotr says, seeing the Fiend incapacitated is stupid. But if it serves a greater purpose for the Fiend, then I don't think it is.
He ate how many curb stomps?
He had 10 to 11 curb stomps.
Right.
But he kept getting up.
I know.
And the whole idea is that he's pushing Seth to his limit and beyond.
Y'all need to wisen up on horror movies, man, because this is honestly look, if you don't like the idea of them incorporating horror movie conventions into your wrestling, I totally get it. But that's what this was.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this was. It was a horror movie. That's what took place. It's not like the red lighting and everything.
Yeah.
And yes, it was a gamble, and half the time, 70% of the time, gamble doesn't work.
Rebecca English says he wasn't. He was faking it. He's playing possum.
That's one interpretation as well. I mean, at some point, he's just a guy in a mask.
Yeah.
He's got supernatural powers. I don't know. I'm not going to, we already went over all that stuff. Just kind of interesting to see what the alternative or what the original planned finish was.
Yeah, what they did was much better.
Hell in a Cell.
What they ended up doing was
I agree. I totally agree.
Much more creative.
Yeah. But
way more creative.
That's a battle we're not going to. It's you and me on the hill, buddy.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll hunker down that bunker with you, Steve.
Awesome. I love it. Talking about hitting people with sledgehammers. How about promotions hitting the road?
Oh, great segue, Steve.
Like
We've talked about whether the optics of NXT having all their shows in Full Sail was one of the reasons why they were struggling ratings-wise. And there actually might be some fire to that smoke. Mm-hmm. This is from the newsletter as well. Quote, there's a lot of talk regarding taking NXT on the road every Wednesday and looking at 5,000-seat buildings similar to AEW. The target seems to be January because WWE has inquired about buildings of that size to shoot television on Wednesday nights. Even before the first week's ratings came out, there was talk that Full Sail was only running weekly because they had no time to set things up and that a move to different arenas would take place in early 2020. As noted, once Week 1 ratings came out with NXT having such a strong show on 10/4 and having spent 2 weeks building it, the location was more likely to get the blame.
So yeah, that's interesting. That was sort of the plan. They needed to get it. They needed time to get it set up.
I wonder if they had a deal with Full Sail potentially too to run, through the end of the year or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
Who knows?
Who knows? That's cool though. I mean,
it's cool unless you go to Full Sail every week.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's for sure. I'm
that's
sure
a bummer. There's quite a community that's built up.
Yeah.
There. I mean, we know some people who go. Karen goes all the time, and we get a little glimpse of that world based through.
You know what they could still totally
her Twitter,
do, though?
So
still just have their developmental, like have a headquarters for the developmental aspect.
I'm sure
of NXT.
I'm sure the developmental aspect will remain NXT. Still do the Florida House Show loop, and it'd be cool if, I don't know, at least quarterly, they come home.
Yeah, sure.
And do, I don't know about a whole month of shows from Full Sail, but at least one. Mm-hmm. Kind of still make that their home base.
Yeah.
They come through Florida, you're going to get, for sure, a TV taping in Full Sail, if not multiple.
I mean, my thing is, NXT, it seems like this is the logical next step, Like, it really does. You want to, if you want to make money off the brand, even more so, if you want to give it if you want it to graduate to the next level, which is the whole purpose of NXT anyways, you got to get it out there on the road in front of 5,000 to 10,000 people. I mean, is it going to get closer to, will that sense of scope, be more of a selling point for people to give it more of a shot and say, oh, wow, look, this is kind of crazy that they're doing these numbers. Also, it looks big. It looks on par with AEW, or is it the booking philosophy of AEW that people are attracted to? I don't know, but it'll be interesting, and I think that NXT deserves to get the bigger platform.
Karen says here, next week is my last Full Sail for 2019.
Oh, and now the time is near.
It's just, I agree with all that. At the same time, it's like I said, there's been a huge or a strong community that's built up around NXT at Full Sail.
Yeah.
And you hate to see communities like that kind of in any way in jeopardy.
That's what Facebook's for, man. Right? No.
Facebook is for spreading false news. Don't you know?
That's true too. I know. I didn't get rid of that. Well, I mean, they still have the Florida. I don't know how close to Orlando the Florida House Loop.
I think they do have shows in Orlando too.
Okay, well there you go then. They can congregate there.
But it's not. I don't know if the same experience is going to Full Sail for the TV taping.
Just throwing some,
I know
silver linings out.
I know. I understand that. I mean, there is a bright side. You get. For NXT, you get the touring schedule, you get the larger venues, and hopefully more money for all the wrestlers there. We still haven't heard if they've gotten raises from NXT going to USA.
No idea.
One would hope so.
Yeah.
But same time, the Full Sail has been a huge part of the growth of NXT.
Yeah, for sure.
So you don't want to see that completely gotten rid of. Mm-hmm. That would be heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
So. Just my 2 cents.
Yeah,
they gotta find a middle ground between keeping that community, that vibe, that atmosphere intact. I mean, Meltzer was talking some nonsense in the newsletter about NXT and how garbage it was in comparison to AEW.
It's almost like the wrestling newsletter is being sponsored by AEW. Speaking of which, Larson.
Oh, wow.
Before we talk ratings, let's get a word from the sponsor of today's show, All Elite Wrestling, baby. The revolution continues Wednesday on TNT with All Elite Wrestling.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, man. As we saw this past week, it's wrestling made for wrestling fans by the wrestlers themselves. AEW action flies higher, hits harder, and with their all-inclusive roster of superstars, they're breaking all boundaries.
This upcoming Wednesday, the AEW title is going to be on the line as challenger Darby Allin takes on champion Le Champion Chris Jericho of the Inner Circle. Also, AEW Women's Champion Riho defends her title against Britt Baker, who, if I'm not mistaken, Larson, is a dentist.
She is a dentist.
We're going to be covering AEW every week here on Going In Raw, and we hope all the friendos out there will join us in experiencing this revolution in professional wrestling. All Elite Wrestling Dynamite, Wednesdays at 8, 7 Central on TNT. And a big shout-out and thanks to All Elite Wrestling.
Oh, yeah, man.
The people at AdvertiseCast and Studio 71 for arranging this sponsorship with AEW.
Yeah, it's been great.
This is the last one of the ad reads. They did this to build obviously the first couple weeks of being on TNT.
Yeah, it's been real cool.
It's been cool. Yeah, it's been cool.
Before we get to our draft preview, let's talk the ratings real quick. So I failed to note them here in the notes.
Yeah.
Just real quick, NXT 791,000.
That's down from the previous week of
790,000 down from 891,000.
Yeah.
All Elite last week is about 1.4 on the live airing. This week is about 1 million on TNT plus another 100,000 and change. They did a simulcast on True TV, I believe.
Yeah.
And then I believe the replay got around 400.
I think it was 390 or 400.
Yeah.
Like
so I think all told about 1.5 million.
Yeah. So there was definitely a drop there from its debut week,
as to be expected.
Yeah. NXT, interestingly, in the newsletter, they also have the weekly ratings for the WWE Network. NXT was still really strong. It was at number 3 on a pay-per-view week, and it did better than the Hell in a Cell kickoff show.
Yeah.
It was Hell in a Cell, then the Goldberg Chronicle, I think.
Yeah.
And then NXT from that week.
Yeah.
So it's still performing really well on the network.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of that is, granted, people are used to watching on the network. I think the only country you can watch it live, NXT live on Wednesday, still is in the United States.
I think you're right about that.
I think if you're in any other country, you have to watch it on the network the following day.
Yeah.
So that might explain some of it.
Mm-hmm. So that's all kind of interesting stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I look forward to both promotions.
Oh, heck yeah, man.
Continuing to bring their A game.
Totally.
Like we've mentioned this before, and it is funny to look at the comments and see people's different interpretations of how we're reviewing these shows, and you guys are biased and you're this and you're that, and we get it from all sides and none of it makes sense. It's hilarious. But the bottom line is this, and you said this before, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan, man.
Yep.
If you want something that looks like it's from 1986, you got NWA Power.
Yep.
If you want something that's more of a modern day sort of studio show, at least for the time, you got NXT.
Mm-hmm.
If you want something that feels like a really good episode of Nitro, you got AEW.
Yep. And if you want WB, there's plenty of that.
There's plenty of that too. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Speaking of which, let's talk about the draft, Larson.
Yes, let us.
So on Saturday, tomorrow, we have our own.
Yeah, our mock draft.
Our mock draft.
I was trying to get it done by Wednesday. I could have, but it wouldn't have been as good.
Which is going to be, so this draft, we're going to be keeping track on our picks from the draft in a spreadsheet, hopefully provided by Cody Miles.
Yes, I got to send him our full rosters.
And the sort of the end game kind of is Mania, right?
Yeah, Mania will be the culmination of our season. It'll kick off today.
Yeah.
I'll send Cody our rosters once we're done here.
Mm-hmm.
It'll kick off today. Scoring will kick off today. It'll culminate at WrestleMania. On the line, this is a huge prize.
Yeah, man. Pikes Peak
extra
mountain
large
size. Not just extra large, mountain size.
Oh, mountain size.
I don't know if they have like an extra large. They have large and then mountain size.
I think mountain size is probably their extra large.
I think so, yeah.
Mountain size, Mountain Mike's, Pikes Peak. That's the all-meat one.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza for the winner.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be keeping track. We'll be posting periodic updates. And then, first thing tomorrow morning, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like 8 o'clock. I don't know. The mock draft will be up. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for the hosts, Jesse Gass and Burl Bruce, coming in and hosting the draft.
A couple of big names.
We scoured the world for the best, the absolute best host and the best commentator.
I can't believe the Gas Man, Jesse Gass himself, 19-time
Southern States champion,
NWA Southern States champion. He came in.
He was right over here. He's standing right here in our office.
Broadcaster extraordinaire Burl Bruce.
Yeah, man. He was nominated for a Pulitzer at one point.
Yeah, it was on the verge, and then it kind of fell apart. But then he was here, so Great to have them here. A couple of interesting characters.
Interesting characters, yes.
But there's a real draft happening also.
Consummate professionals, at least one of them was.
Yeah, well, the other guy brought a gun here. Let's talk about the draft rules, man.
Yeah, let's go over this. WWE announced draft rules yesterday. The protocols for the draft and the list of celebrities and guest analysts that'll be on hand. Rather than go through the full list of everything, here's a summation from WWE.com's official Smackdown preview, which we'll get to more of later. This is what it said. Smackdown and Raw are officially on the clock. Historic WWE draft gets underway on Smackdown with the future of 30 superstars to be determined on Friday night's episode. The preliminary draft pool was released earlier this week on WWE.com and revealed that the fates of WWE Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch, Roman Reigns, the OC, The Fiend Bray Wyatt, and more will be revealed on SmackDown. It'll be a star-studded affair. Celebrities from Fox and NBC Universal will take part in the draft process. 14-time All-Star and Fox analyst Alex Rodriguez, Saturday Night Live's Michael Che and Colin Jost of Weekend Update segments, Mr. Robot's Christian Slater. That's pretty great. NFL on Fox's Joe Buck and Pro Football Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. I feel like Troy Aikman is going to be just tickled to be there.
What was the name of that one Christian Slater movie?
Pump Up the Volume. Is that what you're thinking of?
Of course. That was like his breakout movie, man.
Heck yeah, man. Wasn't Heathers his breakout movie?
Okay, so Heathers was a breakout movie, but Pump Up the Volume was his solo vehicle.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And, oh, gosh. And Mad Money host Jim Cramer
Oh, what?
are among the headlines.
I hope that dude who revived Jerry Lawler's there, because that guy's always on the verge of having a heart attack.
Oh, I know. Below is a full list of...
This is going to be a cluster.
It is. WWE draft rules. We're going to get like the one match. The match to open the show, and otherwise there's going to be a bunch of drafting. And well, I guess we're getting two based on the preview. Here's the rules. Over 70 superstars as well as tag teams are eligible for selection in this year's draft. So my understanding is a team, whether it be a tag team or a faction a la New Day or the OC, is drafted as one unit, taking up one pick. SmackDown will draft 30 superstars, and Raw will select another 41. Since SmackDown is a 2-hour show and Raw is a 3-hour show, for every 2 picks SmackDown makes, Raw will receive 3. See, I've read this differently. That there'll be 30 selections on SmackDown.
On SmackDown, 30 superstars will be drafted.
Yes, and then 41 selections on Raw.
And then Raw, because longer, will have more superstars drafted.
Because if you do the math, that doesn't work out.
Right.
Tag teams will count as one pick unless Fox or USA Network specifically wants to pick only one superstar.
So they can break
team.
people up.
Yeah.
They can break people up.
Any undrafted superstars will immediately be declared free agents and be able to sign with the brand of their choosing. Awesome. John Pollock added some additional details on Twitter saying, quote, the celebrities will be doing spots but not actually making the picks. They are said to be spots discussing strategy analysis. Stephanie will be in the role of announcing all the picks like a league manager would. So that's one of the questions we had. Are they going to have GMs representing each brand? I think having Steph act as WB commissioner, I think that's the right move.
Yeah, me too. You see that although do they televise the baseball draft?
Yeah, on MLB Network, yeah.
On MLB Network. Yeah. Okay. Because obviously
Major League Baseball draft is like 100 rounds. It's obscenely long. It might be 50 now, but it's super long.
Because obviously for the first rounds anyways, you got Adam Silver and Goodell in the NBA, and those get like big ratings.
Yeah. Well, the NBA draft is great because there's only 2 rounds. It used to be way longer back in the day.
Yeah.
But the full NFL draft's televised, yeah. But Goodell only does day 1, and then the assistant commissioner does the rest, or someone else, some other executives.
Yeah. And those get really good ratings.
Yeah. I mean, I think the NFL draft they have on ESPN, NFL Network.
Have you watched any of the Zion stuff? Any of them in the preseason?
No, I haven't watched any preseason basketball yet.
Apparently he's just like crazy good.
Yeah, he's like really super athletic.
Ridiculously fast.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. It can be hard to stop.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the full list here of everybody who's going to be eligible to be drafted tonight on SmackDown. We're going to go through that in a second. And then we'll do the same for Raw on a Raw preview on Monday. Before we get to that, though, WrestleVotes has some backstage rumors about who might be going where, saying, quote, draft info is being kept tight-lipped, rightfully so. They are trying to make this a big deal. With that said, I know Heyman has fought for Bray Wyatt and Aleister Black to land on Raw. On the flip side, Fox, not specifically Bischoff, has remained steady for Reigns and Charlotte.
He doesn't want the Forgotten Sons? They're
not.
like a motorcycle gang.
Kind of.
Are they?
I've never seen him on motorcycles. I've seen him in
just
the junkyard.
seen them in a junkyard.
Yes.
Which also, they drove in on, the NWO drove in on garbage dumpster trucks.
Yeah.
You would think maybe.
Well, they weren't hanging around the dump. It was a junkyard. That's a different thing. They're different things.
Isn't that where? Oh yeah. Where do the garbage trucks go?
They go to the dump.
Well, there you go. Oh, but that's different from the junkyard.
Yeah, junkyards like where you take cars and they break them apart. Just junk.
Or when you have Superman fighting his ego.
Yes, exactly. Where there's things crushed. Not to be confused with Superman 2, where he
so
lost
some
his
of the more
powers.
interesting names, some of the more interesting names, and we'll go down some of these, but like a couple before we get started with that, a couple of these really stand out. Number one, a couple of 205 graduates. Humberto Carrillo, not surprising. Well, it's a pleasant surprise. I'll put it that way. Akira Tozawa.
That's cool.
Is in the draft pool.
And then Drew Gulak.
And then man, I watched that interview, the post.
I know. We were
sitting
right here.
you
We
were
were
here
sitting
with
here
me.
watching it.
He was almost teary-eyed
I
and
know.
emotional from what was obviously his final cruiserweight match.
I know.
That dude knew he is getting drafted somewhere.
Yeah.
And I hope it's wherever Daniel Bryan is.
Same.
I could not think of a better, man, that could be so much fun.
I know.
Whether it's alliance, like a feud, whatever.
Yeah.
Give me Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak together in something.
Totally.
That could be amazing.
All right, Steve. Where's Becky Lynch going?
She's going to go to SmackDown. That's where
She's the Raw Women's Champ.
A lot of the chatter is saying she's going to go to SmackDown.
No, man, she's staying on Raw. If Raw loses Becky Lynch, there's basically no reason to watch Raw anymore.
Well, there's a lot of other wrestlers on Raw.
Yeah, I know. She's kind of the one that
If Paul Heyman, because there's also the thing that Paul Heyman really likes Buddy Murphy.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman wants Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black.
Is he going to trade Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black for Becky Lynch?
No, of course not. But that's not going to matter. I think that Charlotte and Becky Lynch are going to end up on SmackDown.
Roman Reigns, where'd he going? He's staying on SmackDown, yeah?
We're going to have to write all this stuff down.
No, we're writing this all down.
We're not going to do that.
Well, I can do it. OC, where are they going?
I don't know.
Raw.
Can we just do like an overview thing? What, like you're just randomly saying like brands
I'm picking
right
for
now.
both of us.
You're just randomly
Bray
saying,
Wyatt, he's staying on Raw too.
Okay.
Well, I haven't heard the notes, so we're going to pick who's going to what show.
I didn't agree to that. You just sort of made that up.
Well, you didn't change it, so I thought you were cool with it.
I don't look at the notes until I'm literally reading.
All right. Drew McIntyre, he's on the list. It'd be cool if he went to SmackDown. Randy Orton, I feel like he might be going to Raw because he's got that thing with Baron.
And the Street Profits are on this list. Too.
Yes.
Yeah. I would assume, given that they've spent their entire main roster careers
Probably be on Raw.
talking about Raw, they're probably going to stay on Raw.
Randall Orton, he's on here. He's probably going to go to Raw. Sasha Banks, she might be dealing with a tailbone injury of some kind.
But if a lot of it is like, I don't know. You know what's going to be fun is to see, like, if they see. I don't want them to bring in celebrities from Fox and USA, although that is kind of interesting. That Fox and USA, this is kind of, and by necessity, I guess. But there's a collaborative spirit there.
Well, I don't think they're all going to be on SmackDown tonight. Like, I don't think Michael Che and Colin Jost are going to be on a Fox show. They'll be on Raw on Monday.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's under the NBC Universal
But they're
umbrella.
all in one big thing, you
I
know? So it wouldn't surprise me if they did a little bit. I mean, that's not going to hurt anybody.
Also on the list, be drafted tonight, Sasha. Raw. Ricochet.
Okay, why do you say Raw then?
It's just what my gut's telling me.
There's nothing informed. Like, what? Why?
I mean,
you're going to throw these brands out there. Why are you picking these?
Especially if Becky's going to go to SmackDown. They can't lose Becky and Sasha to SmackDown. Sasha's staying on Raw. Ricochet.
But didn't you just say that you think Becky's going to stay on Raw too?
Yeah, I think she is. I don't think there's going to be
This is asinine.
I don't think there's going to be a whole
Raw. This preview is terrible.
I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of changes.
How is EC3 in the draft pool? Who got left out of the draft pool? Do we have that info?
The Usos aren't in it.
What? Oh, and then WWE on Fox, their Twitter account, tweeted out, what main roster stars do you want to see go to NXT? Mm-hmm. So are we to assume that the people who are not on this in this draft pool, are they going to be...
They're free agents, man.
Yeah,
go wherever they want.
Agents. Who's going to be Mr. Irrelevant? Or Ms. Irrelevant?
Or Miss Irrelevant. Also on this list to be drafted tonight, Braun Strowman.
Mr. Irrelevant's going to be Drake Maverick.
Probably. Bob Lashley. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Lacey Evans. The War Raiders. The Revival. Revival's got to stand SmackDown. They're SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Natalia.
I don't think that means anything, though.
Well, so let me ask you this.
What?
Let's say the SmackDown Tag Team Champions get drafted to Raw and Rudolph get drafted to SmackDown. Do they trade belts then?
Like,
the belts are color coded, man. You can't have the SmackDown title on the Raw show.
Yeah.
And you can't have the Raw title on SmackDown. Is Becky
okay, there's got to be precedence for this, right?
Yeah, there was, but they would just say, okay, this is the title here. But they weren't color coded. The SmackDown Women's title is blue. You can't have the belt with the blue background on the red show. It doesn't work that way. Are Charlotte and Becky going to say, okay, here, let's trade titles?
No, they're not going to do that. They'll have a match. She'll vacate it. I don't know. Isn't there a precedent for that?
Yeah, but I'm saying there were
No, I'm asking what it is.
I think Batista, when he was champ, was drafted to the opposite brand.
They just had those titles switched because they weren't, as you say, and you're correct, color coded. Yeah, I get that.
They weren't color coded back then. So if the World Heavyweight Champion got drafted to Raw,
it's not a big deal.
It wasn't a huge deal.
Yeah. But then has anybody with a specific, like with the Raw in the title of the title, has gone to a different brand?
I don't
think that's true. Yeah, I don't think that's happened.
And I don't think it's gonna happen. Becky staying on Raw, man.
All right, well, there you go.
Natalia, she could be drafted tonight. Street Profits.
This is the second time I've heard this. Sarah Small here in chat says, rumor that Riddle's going to SmackDown.
Yeah, I saw that somewhere on Twitter.
Boy, that'd be crazy. Oh my God, that'd be so great.
That'd be pretty crazy.
That'd be so great.
I mean, if they want the sports thing going for SmackDown. He gets drafted. Lucha House Party. Cesaro, Kevin Owens, Humberto Carrillo, Akira Tozawa, Sin Cara, Eric Young, EC3, Shorty G, Chad Gable, Heath Slater, Drew Gulak, the B Team, Tamina. They're all eligible to be drafted tonight, and there's 41 other superstars we can review Monday.
Cool. B Team. The heck? Man.
So how many of these draft picks are going to be like slideshows?
Like as opposed to what?
Stephanie going up to a podium and announcing them.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Because I don't feel like they're going to take the time of because every second is precious on a 2-hour program. They're going to take the time to have Stephanie walk up the podium and says, Raw selected the B team. I think a lot of this is going to be done either through slideshow or on Twitter afterwards.
Twitter. Yeah, Twitter. Raw has selected Tamina, Heath Slater,
Eric Young to work as a producer. That's what he's doing. I mean,
is he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think that I read that he's doing some producing.
That's rad. That's good. That's good.
Awesome. Yeah, it's awesome.
That's great. I get to see him in a suit pulling apart brawls. EC3, they need to do something with him, man.
Oh yeah,
they need to do something with him. I wish he wasn't in the draft pool so we can go back to NXT.
That'd be great. Well, I guess he could. I didn't count how many people in this draft pool. I'm assuming it's 30. But what if
there was like 71
total? Yeah.
Yeah.
But like if everybody listed here is going to be drafted, that takes kind of some of the mystery out of it.
Yeah.
Like what if people in the draft pool and don't get drafted?
Yeah.
And then the possibility exists that EC3 cannot be drafted and go back to NXT.
Ricky Scurvy says Larson's always annoyed unless it's about AEW. Well, we are sponsored by them. And then Rebecca says he's just frustrated with Steve's lack of in-depth analysis. I'm fine doing analysis. I'm not just going to throw out brand names because my gut tells me so. How can you get somebody from Raw to SmackDown if they're the Raw champion?
Yeah, riddle me that.
I don't know. No, it's a good question.
Because like if Becky was going to go to the SmackDown.
Well, here's the thing. It's WWE, so you don't need logic behind it. They
can
simply say she's vacating the title.
Well, like that sucks for Becky.
She's going to be a number one pick. She's going to be the number one pick.
She'd be definitely in top 3 for sure.
Okay, who goes number 1? What do you want to bet?
Depends who gets the first pick.
What do you want to bet? I'd say it's Becky Lynch.
Well, if Raw gets the first pick, yeah, it's entirely possible.
Raw's not going to get the first pick on SmackDown, man.
Well, that's what they're having this match.
Tonight. SmackDown on Fox.
They're having this match.
Oh, let's talk about that. That's
when I first
silly.
read it, it was whoever wins the match. Some of the wording of this stuff from WWE has been crap.
That's funny. I'm sorry. Wait. Kyle Korth says Taker was drafted by the Saudi government. That'd be amazing if they brought the Saudi government in, so like a Saudi prince or two comes in.
Ultimate Warrior's drafted, huh?
Yokozuna goes to the Saudi government.
Gosh.
Hologram of Yokozuna.
So the first time in the SmackDown preview, let's get this because it's draft related. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns to face off on SmackDown for number 1 pick. Now, when this was first announced, it made it seem like whoever won the match would be the first pick. No.
For their brands.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Seth, representing Raw, faces Roman Reigns representing SmackDown, the opening match of this week's WWE Draft episode of Friday Night SmackDown on Fox, and the victorious superstar will earn the first overall pick for the corresponding brand.
Are we just Dellers that we didn't read between the lines on that one?
No, because when it was first presented, it was like
Rollins versus Reigns to determine who will be the number one pick.
It's like who will be first pick or something like that.
Yeah.
I think they personified that, so it made it seem like the winner of it was going to be the first pick. The stakes are high for this showdown between former field members, or sometimes we don't read things so thoroughly. As the Universal Champion squares off with the big dog to decide which brand gets the all-important first selection. Will Rollins secure the top pick for Raw, or Reigns score a major victory for the blue brand? Tune in for the WWE draft on Friday.
Reigns is going to win this. This is easy because Rollins is still going to be messed up from the.
Now, if they're doing things right,
they
that's how
better
they
freaking sell that.
They better. If not, then people have all the reason to gripe.
Yes.
If WWE does not follow through on what they established at Hell in a Cell, then by all means, yes, complain about it.
That fool better not come out with a smile on his face.
Hell to the no.
No, man. He needs to come out.
If he's out there beaming, talking, giving high fives, doing it all wrong.
Yeah.
That dude should be damaged goods.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he goes out there, just eats a spear.
I know, it should be a squash match. It really should.
Yeah.
Like there should be a flicker of the lights. You should turn around, spear done. Yeah. That's how it should be.
Yeah, I agree.
They won't do it.
And
though,
then Reigns like, come on, man, are you okay?
Come on, brother, are you okay?
Come on, brother.
And then
give me a fist bump.
And then Seth gets up and stomps him because he's just all freaked out.
Yeah, that's good.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it, man.
That's how you do it. So okay, then SmackDown gets the first pick. Who's SmackDown take? They're gonna take Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he's a WWE champion.
They're gonna take Brock Lesnar if SmackDown gets first pick. They're gonna get Brock Lesnar, and then Raw they should take Becky Lynch.
Yeah. Yeah, you might be right about that because they're going to be like, well, we're going to take Seth, but, man, he's a mess.
Yeah, he's a disaster here.
Yeah, we're going to take Becky.
Becky is the one wrestler Raw cannot afford to lose.
I don't think that's true, man.
I think it is.
Their depth is pretty decent for, just people that are good.
I'm telling you. But from a marketing standpoint, if Raw loses Becky Lynch.
Marketing standpoint, I guarantee they're probably still arguing over who's going to get Becky. Becky's going to be on both brands. Wild card rule. Charlotte Flair and Bayley to collide tonight for SmackDown Women's title in Hell in a Cell rematch. This title's going to change hands. So Bayley's going to stay on SmackDown. Charlotte's going to go to Raw.
You think so?
Maybe Bayley and Sasha are going to be on SmackDown, and then Charlotte and Becky are going to stay on Raw. That could be the case. But then Bischoff really wants Charlotte.
Well, Fox wanted Charlotte.
Fox wanted Charlotte. Maybe that means Bayley's going to go to Raw. Charlotte and Sasha are going to be on SmackDown, but then we just get Charlotte and Sasha again. Charlotte and Becky going to be on SmackDown. I don't know.
No, because I feel like
God, it would be great. What if she comes out and says, Asuka, I want a piece of you. Asuka wins Raw Women's title. Becky sent to SmackDown.
I mean, if they get that belt off her somehow tonight,
that'd be crazy.
Then it'd be more likely that she goes to SmackDown.
Oh, if that happens tonight, that's a guarantee. Yeah. But we're going to find out in the first 3 picks.
I know.
She ain't going further than she's going to be. If she's not she's going to be at the least, she's going to be number 2.
Mm-hmm. Number 2 for the respective
unless
brand,
wouldn't SmackDown just get Seth, get the Universal Champion?
I know.
But that isn't it's why would you? I don't know. As a brand, it's well, no, I'm a Universal Champion. The championship's got to stay on Raw.
Also, because it's got a red strap on it,
and it's color coded.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's color coded.
So they really got themselves into a pickle here by color coding all their championships.
This is maybe the worst draft preview ever.
I think it's great. This analysis is fantastic. Becky cannot go to SmackDown because her belt is red.
This is awful analysis.
Hey, I'm trying here.
I know you are.
I was trying to predict who was going to go where. You weren't having any of it.
I know, because I want some analysis, not just throwing out.
Well, why should I bother my thoughts when you're like, I don't want to do it?
Because you weren't doing it in the first place. You were just I
was trying to.
Where's Ricochet going to go? Raw. Why?
No,
my gut tells me that's not
the only person I said that to was
I've never seen Shannon Sharp say, I think they're going to win because my gut tells me.
I said it once. I told you why I thought Becky was staying on Raw, because her belt's red.
That was the worst.
Why is Roman going to stay on SmackDown? Because Fox wishes it. Why is the OC going to stay on Raw? Because they're kind of one of the best things going on Raw right now.
You think so?
Oh, they're fun.
I know. I like them.
There's just not a lot positive going on Raw right now.
That's the problem.
And if you take away Becky, the OC, then there's just going to be Seth and The Fiend.
WWE needs to make some changes, man.
They do.
They need to make stars.
They do.
I'll do that. Anyways,
speaking of which,
Charlotte and Bayley are about to run it back Yes, following her defeat over Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title this past Sunday at WWE Hell in a Cell, Charlotte Flair will square off with her longtime rival in a rematch tonight on Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. Can Bayley end the Queen's history-making 10th title reign only 5 days? What? Can Bayley end the Queen's history-making 10th title reign only 5 days after Charlotte recaptured the title? Or will Flair make Bayley bow down yet again? Bow down as the WWE draft begins. Find out when the two collide tonight at 8/7 Central on Fox.
What's next for Kevin Owens after his ladder match win? Kevin Owens impressed the Staples Center crowd with a high-flying ladder match against Shane McMahon with their careers literally hanging in the balance. KO exited with the victory, but not before firing Shane O'Mac and delivering a gratifying stunner. Is Owens finally freed from the grips of Shane? Have we heard the last from the best in the world?
Best in the world. God, I hope. Yes, we have. He got fired. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, I should stick at least for a week.
No kidding. And then finally, what Raw superstar is destined for SmackDown glory? A number of high-profile Raw superstars were eligible for Friday's round of the WWE Draft, as Sasha Banks, The Fiend Bray Wyatt, AJ Styles, and Braun Strowman are all available in the draft pool. Will a change in scenery help one of these superstars usher in a new era of Friday Night SmackDown on Fox? Tune into the WWE Draft on Fox at 8/7 Central to see who will be trading in red for blue.
What was that show on? It was on MTV, the basketball show that had the draft pool.
Yeah, I know. It was Who Got Game?
Yeah,
it was Who Got Game.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It was like a making the band, but for basketball or something.
Kind of like that. Yeah.
What was that? Yeah.
Man, I gotta pop in those and one mixtape DVDs I got hanging out.
They're
somewhere in the office.
good.
Yeah.
Oh man, I could watch those all day long.
Heck yeah, man! I used to do that.
You'd be shocked at how standard def they are, though.
Oh, I don't care.
Kind of better, huh?
Yeah, it is.
That way, yeah.
It is.
We should get one of them, like whenever Friendo has the old school TV.
Oh, heck yeah, man.
Get one of those in here.
I used to watch it back in the day.
Pop it up in the corner. Just have and one on there all day long.
That'd be fantastic.
You got to paint this place like red or something. Make it look cool.
It'd be like Hell in a Cell then. Joshua Martinez, I'm working from home today equals slacking off. Right on.
That's the best,
That
man.
is the best.
If you can con your boss into letting you work from home, it's amazing.
Water Cooler Wrestling, thank you. Ask any tips for someone starting their own wrestling channel. Consistency is key. Talk about what you're excited about. If you're passionate about it, that passion will translate out there in video land.
I have a suggestion. Make up stories. Because people will get you attention if you make up
get
stories.
attention that way, but it's yesterday when we were talking about Damian Priest infamy.
Yeah, sure.
Making up stories will lead to low grade infamy.
I have a case of the low grade infamy, doctor. How do I solve it? Well, Brad,
stop making things up.
Stop making things up, Brad.
Mikey Omega finally got decent AEW tickets after nearly an hour of hell. Demand is still there, or they got a really bad ticketing system with whatever venue they're running in Texas. Who knows? Adam Anderson, what NXT has going now is that it has a packed, hot crowd at Full Sail. I'm not confident they can get main roster AEW attendance for non-takeover events. They should stick with the devil they know, in Adam's opinion.
I don't know where you get that. Where he gets that from, though. Like, well, takeovers do great.
Yeah, takeovers do great because they're special events. There's no precedent for how they would sell regular Wednesday TV when main roster at trouble in a lot of places getting filling 5,000 seat venues. I understand the point he's trying to make. We just don't know because they haven't done it.
Yeah, I wouldn't err on the side of. I mean, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I'd bet that they'd have the same. I don't know about the same as AEW, but I mean, I think the first couple of them will sell out.
Oh, the first one,
maybe not within 30 seconds.
What they'd probably have to do is run.
Both companies are they're gonna, in the long term, it's difficult week to week to sell out 5,000 or 6,000.
What AEW would have to do immediately is run places they don't go very often.
I mean, what they'd have to do is do what they've kind of already done. It's like, man, Finn Balor's in NXT, Kevin Owens in NXT, stuff like that. That's what you need to do. It's like they would have to bring in names and just long-term feuds, It's like Walter versus Kushida is great, but give me like a 3-month build for that,
Mm-hmm. Nick C., happy Friday, boys. I'm excited for SmackDown tonight. I'll be rocking my new Cultaholic shirt, and I'll be wearing some Macho Man sunglasses. Oh,
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool, Nick.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see here.
Fiend Kicks, will a tag team or faction be split up? It's got to be one B team.
Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
Entirely possible.
I just read that on Twitter from some rando.
Oh, yeah.
So don't know if it's true or not.
That'd be entirely possible.
But I could see that happening. Who would you say?
B team.
Oh, man, I hope so for their sake. Although it just might not land them on TV at all.
Yeah, 24/7 scene.
Yeah.
Completely and totally. Rich Hardesty, Seth for Raw, Roman for SmackDown, but who's Brand X?
Brand NXT.
And speaking of which, Jose Alaguna, have you seen Joker?
No, I have not. And I don't know when I'm going to. I don't know if it's going to be the thing where I'm just watching on Netflix or if I'm actually going to go watch it in theater. I'm not like really into it. Like I'd rather go see Ed Astra.
Ad Astra.
I had a guy named Ed who goes into space to find Tommy Lee Jones.
Astra. Dad Astra.
Right. Why are they called that?
Dad Astra, I know.
Yeah, Dad Astra. Why'd you come up here, son? Is Tommy Lee Jones playing his Men in Black character?
I don't believe so. I believe it's the same character he was in The Fugitive.
The one-armed man.
Yeah, he's looking for the one-armed man in space.
Yeah. I'm innocent. I don't care.
Or he was like, this is no country for old men here. I'm going to go to space and see if I'll fare better up there.
See if there's an old man country in space.
Yeah, or old man planet in space.
Get away from that Anton Chigurh.
Oh, dear.
I had a dream last night. My dad was there and he was in space. I'm going to space.
Dad Astra.
Dad Astra. Let's see here. Cody Miles, out of today's draft pool, who is the nerd that gets left out of the dodgeball game? Or are they going to do a Drake Maverick thing where he's going to be on the hunt for a contract? Who did they do that with last time? Was it Heath Slater? Yeah, that's right.
Heath Slater.
I wonder if he's going to do that again.
Maybe. And then Drake has to win the 24/7 title to get his contract or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And Cody post the scoring.
Yeah.
I still feel like we got to work winning a brawl in there somewhere.
We're going to have to Yeah, we have Cody's system, and then we're going to make it better, and then he's going to keep track of our points.
There you go.
That's how it's going to work.
Sounds like a great idea.
Jimmy Thomas says, the real reason Raw gets more picks is because Main Event needs a roster. So why not make that a co-branded show? Heck yeah, man. Put Main Event on the road on its own.
There you go. Yeah, that'll do great.
Let's see here. Jimmy Thomas. If Raw gets Aleister Black, doesn't that mean they get Andrade and Zelina Vega too?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's the thing. If Aleister, it's funny how there's like 4 people who have to stay on the same brand.
I know.
But apparently, so let me ask you this. So Fox and USA, that sort of changes the game a little bit. They're the idea of keeping people together that are couples falls in priority.
It does, but if they're going to do that, they need to do one thing, and that's do less house shows. So these people who are married,
they need to do that anyways.
Actually, yeah, I know. Actually get to spend some time together. And,
I agree.
And not have marriages dissolve because they're people on different brands.
What's a bigger priority? Knowing that, understanding that. Zelina Vega and Andrade stay together, or Andrade and Charlotte stay together? What's a bigger priority?
It should be Aleister and Zelina because they're actually married. However,
that's right. Yeah.
However, it might be Charlotte and Andrade. Just because Charlotte's she's one of the top stars.
No, you're not. You're saying that so you think Andrade and Zelina together is lowest on the priority list? Creatively speaking,
I'm saying keeping. Oh, creatively speaking,
I'm saying understanding that Fox and USA.
Yeah, no, I know.
Now take precedence over keeping people happy.
I know, but I'm saying if it's a choice between having Aleister and Zelina on different shows or Charlotte and Andrade different shows.
Well, the married people win for sure.
You would think so.
Yeah.
I would hope so. But Charlotte being the top star of the bunch, I don't know if that would hold any sway.
I don't know.
She
also seems very happy with Andrade.
Yeah.
Not saying that the married couple don't, but they're married. Let's see here. And then Cody mentioned this because I mentioned the wild card rule.
Oh, yeah.
This is a great tweet from WWE on Fox. Wild card rule, and there's like a little candle, a vigil, May of 2019 to October of 2019.
Yeah, that was well done.
That's funny. Who do you think runs this Twitter account?
Someone at WWE.
WWE?
Someone there, yeah.
Or Fox PR?
If it's Fox PR, then they have a pretty decent wrestling knowledge base.
Ah, interesting. Cody, thank you for this. When Bobby Lashley as ECW was drafted away from ECW to Raw, he was stripped of the title.
Okay.
Everything changes always, but that is a very interesting precedent right there.
That's kind of analogous to getting moved up from NXT, though.
Oh, no. That was a co-branded. They would co-brand pay-per-views with ECW.
I know, but there was a huge gap between, like, it wasn't like ECW was held to the same standard as Raw and SmackDown.
They wanted it to be, though.
I know, but it totally wasn't. It was more analogous to developmental than it was main roster.
Jimmy Thomas says, I wouldn't be shocked if they pulled a WCW and all titles get vacated. I'd be shocked if they did that.
Yeah,
I don't think that's not going to happen. Those fans will boo the place.
Jose Alaguna says Humberto Carrillo is the real Spanish god. Dale gas.
Dale gas. Dale gas. Let's go to the Twitter. I don't think.
Did you?
I did.
I didn't see it.
I did. You're not looking.
No, I don't see it.
What the hell did I know? I did not hit send on that. Are you kidding me?
You didn't.
That's insane.
You didn't.
That's weird. Did I put it on my personal one?
Maybe.
Why would I have done that? That'd be
I
stupid.
don't know.
Because I'm stupid. That is crazy.
Sean Lindsay says, according to WB on Fox Reddit, the guy running it was a former NXT social media guy.
Oh, okay. That's
LXC says that too. So someone from WB.
Well, that's a true bummer. So no questions today. So there you go.
Anybody else heard any rumors, draft rumors?
Is simply going to peter out today.
Yeah, seems like it. Anybody else heard any draft rumors?
Any good?
Oh, Johnny Ramirez, dream match, Eddie Guerrero versus AJ Styles. Who wins? Eddie.
The new businessman, Maddie, says, I wish I could travel with the TV. I think it was his TV. We should go to Goodwill today and get ourselves a little TV for the draft. Oh, man.
No, I don't think we're going to do that. Hey, Michael Cole's here in chat. Michael Cole, Steve versus Larson for WWE Championship. Book it.
Steve versus Larson. Well, I like the Cameron Grimes method of saying, look over there, and then kick you in the balls. Because I'm not getting the height that he gets on those double stomps. I'd kick you in the balls, and then...
And sweet shin music for the win.
Yeah.
Joseph Riggs, do you think the New Day is getting split up? I hope not.
They can't.
I hope not.
They're a marketing force, man. You can't do that.
Alex C., I heard Rawgate Mutant to SmackDown since they have the portal to bring him in.
2K ripping us off left and right. Anyways, I'm still salty about that. And we're going to start seeing awesome tweets from our 2K friendos about meeting people and stuff.
Yeah, good for them.
Not good for them.
No, good for them. Be happy for the people, man.
I'm happy I'm not in Vegas. Cost me too much money last time. Anyways,
well, that's on you.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. We got to ask Steven Larson at some point. But yeah, join us in about
it's 5 o'clock Pacific, Eastern.
5 Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern.
8 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, geez,
there you go. You okay?
I actually slept in today.
Nice.
But the problem is I'm so used to how I do things in the morning that when I sleep in, I have to rush through my morning routine.
Even you can turn a positive into old grumpy man.
Well, I have a finite amount of time to get things done in the morning. If it was a weekend, I don't have that.
Sleeping in
People have to get out the door. People have to get out the door at 8:30.
Yeah, man.
People have to get out the door at like 8 to 9.
And it never ends either.
To get to places on time.
Time goes by so quick. We're going to be like in our 80s soon, man.
Well, actually, it's quite
quick.
Ways before we be in our 80s.
Yeah, but it goes by like that.
I realize that.
Man, it's crazy. Anyways, that's it for the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it. Till next time. Talk later.
Bye.